Good evening, everyone, and welcome to KOMU 8 News at 10 o'clock. We're live from Atlanta, Georgia. The Georgia Dome and the 2014 SEC Championship game kicks off tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Missouri and Alabama. I am joined by KOMU 8's Rachel Whittle. She is outside the Dome at SEC Fanfare. And I'm also joined by KOMU 8's Jay Wallace. He is 187 miles away in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We'll get to the reporters in a second, but first, let's bring in KOMU 8's Chris Trevino to talk about this matchup tomorrow.
Well, we've talked a lot about it this week, and we're finally less than 24 hours away, but both teams have arrived. Alabama had a little bit of a practice here this afternoon. Missouri, much later in the day, really just had a walkthrough, just literally walked through the dome onto the field to get a little bit of a feel of the surroundings. Of course, the Tigers were here a year ago, but they just kind of keep this like a regular road trip, Missouri. Get in late afternoon, go to the stadium here in this case today, and then just have a few meetings and take it easy at the hotel and focus in on the game tomorrow.
Today at the press conference, Gary Pinkel said in a couple little ways it will help the fact that Mizzou was here last year.
I would think so. Obviously, they suffered a loss to Auburn in that game, but just to be on this stage, and it is a grand stage as we'll see tomorrow, I think the atmosphere at least should not wow them. They've just got to be sure that Alabama doesn't wow them with their play.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much. Also at that press conference today, Nick Saban, the Alabama coach, was talking about how the defensive ends, Shane Ray and Marcus Golden, can just be so disruptive for a team's offense. KOMU 8's Tyler Graver is here to talk about one of those two defensive ends.
Jim, there's a lot of good leaders on this Missouri football team. To get to a stage like this, you need that great leadership. But trust me, folks, none of them are quite like Marcus Golden. Now, earlier in the week, Jim, Missouri defensive coordinator Dave Steckel was saying that not only Marcus Golden but Shane Ray are really the emotional pulse of this team. And if you ever watch these guys, they feed off of each other on the field. I saw them walking arm in arm together through the tunnel today. They've really just been the driving force of this Missouri football team.
If they can get Alabama into 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 12s, a lot of good things could happen.
It changes the complexion of the game completely.
All right, Tyler, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
The SEC Championship game is more than just about football. It's sort of like a family affair. KOMU 8's Rachel Whittle is outside the Dome with a look at Fanfare.
I'm live outside the Georgia World Congress Center where SEC Fanfare wrapped up a couple hours ago. Fans young and old tossed around footballs and listened to former players being interviewed. While Fanfare is full of fun and games, one official told me that this is the one place SEC fans become family, even among Mizzou and Alabama fans. Robbie Robertson also told me that SEC Nation's presence is a big enhancement at Fanfare this year. He said to look out for Mizzou celebrities tomorrow if you're traveling in from Columbia, like Michael Sam and TJ Moe. They'll be at Fanfare tomorrow. Reporting live for the Mizzou Extra, Rachel Whittle, KOMU 8 News, and now we will send you over to Tuscaloosa, where KOMU 8's Jay Wallace is live with a look at why that city has a special connection to mid-Missouri.
Well, Rachel, back in May of 2011, as many of you know, a devastating tornado hit Joplin, impacting hundreds of thousands of lives. And since then, the city has worked to rebuild and reconstruct that city. And just a month before that tornado hit, another tornado hit Tuscaloosa. But just like Joplin, that tornado showed Tuscaloosa's true colors and brought the city together. Patton also mentioned that one of her agents worked with Nick Saban's sons to rebuild houses as a part of Habitat for Humanity. And just like many of the people here in Tuscaloosa, she gave me a roll tide before I left. Thanks for sticking with us here in Tuscaloosa. We'll be in Atlanta tomorrow for SEC Championship coverage. Reporting live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for Mizzou Extra, Jay Wallace, KOMU 8 News. Now let's pitch it back to the studio.
Very exciting. Thanks, Jay. Protests about the Michael Brown shooting have erupted across the nation, some more peaceful than others. Today, Jefferson City served as a final destination where protesters marching from Ferguson met to let their voices be heard. KOMU 8's Shale Ramin has been covering the story all day and has more on what these protesters want to see change. Lives matter. This is something that the protesters then picked up and chanted throughout the day. The Cole County Courthouse was put on lockdown after people attempted to block traffic by laying down in the intersection. Police say that people were not affiliated with the NAACP march at the Capitol. Police warned the demonstrators several times they were subject to arrest if they did not move immediately. After police threatened to arrest them, they all complied and no arrests were made. The lockdown lasted for roughly about 10 minutes. It's been a rain, go away kind of day, hasn't it been? Let's send it over to Kenton to see what he has to say.
Your next 8 days, what you can expect for your weekend coming up in just a bit.
A candlelight vigil to honor one of Columbia's own. I'll have more after the break.